Imagine a royal dynasty vanishing almost overnight. That's exactly what happened to the Antigonid dynasty, rulers of Macedon and heirs to Alexander the Great's legacy. One day they commanded armies and minted coins. The next, they were erased from history. Their fall was so sudden it stunned the ancient world, a powerful reminder that even the greatest empires can disappear in a flash. The Antigonids didn't just lose a battle, their entire legacy was wiped out in a single generation. For the people of Macedon, it was as if the world had turned upside down, kings gone, armies shattered, and a new foreign power in charge. How could such a formidable dynasty, direct successors to Alexander, collapse so completely? The answer lies in a dramatic clash of civilizations, a story of ambition, betrayal, and a single decisive battle that changed history forever. To understand their fall, we need to go back to the chaos after Alexander's death when generals became kings and the world was up for grabs. Let's unravel the mystery of the lost Antigonid Empire. Their story is a cautionary tale, power is fragile, and history can turn in an instant. So, who were the Antigonids and how did they rise from the ashes of Alexander's empire? The Antigonid story begins in 323 BC, the year Alexander the Great died without an heir. His generals, the Diadochi, fought a brutal war for control of his vast empire. Among them was Antigonus the One-Eyed, a veteran commander who nearly reunited Alexander's empire under his own rule. Antigonus and his son, Demetrius the Besieger, carved out a kingdom in Asia Minor, but their ambitions made them targets. Antigonus was killed at the Battle of Ipsus in 301 BC, but his dynasty survived through his son and grandson. They lost the Asian territories but seized the throne of Macedon, the heartland of Alexander's legacy. The Antigonids weren't ancient Macedonian royalty, they were new power players, their claim built on military might and ambition. Their story is one of dramatic reversals, defeat, exile, and eventual triumph in Macedon. By the time of Antigonus Gonatas, the dynasty had secured the Macedonian throne and dominated Greece. They became the new masters of the Greek world, ruling from the homeland of Alexander the Great. Their rise was anything but inevitable. It was won through relentless struggle and bold gambles. The Antigonids were survivors, adventurers, and for a time the most powerful family in Greece. But their hold on power would always be precarious. The next chapter, how they forged an empire from chaos. After defeat at Ipsus, the Antigonids clawed their way back to power. It was Antigonus Gonatas, the founder's grandson, who finally secured the Macedonian throne. Unlike his flamboyant forebears, Gonatas was patient and pragmatic, focusing on consolidating Macedon and controlling Greece. He fought off rivals, defeated invading Gauls at Lysimachia, and was hailed as a savior by the Macedonians. Gonatas ruled not just with force, but with diplomacy, using alliances, garrisons, and political maneuvering to keep the Greek city-states in check. He brought stability and cultural revival after years of chaos, establishing a durable Antigonid kingdom. The Macedonian phalanx and control of key fortresses made them a formidable power in the Aegean. Gonatas transformed his family's chaotic inheritance into a stable, respected Hellenistic state. For decades, the Antigonids dominated Greece from their Macedonian stronghold, but beneath the surface, new threats were rising. The Antigonid kingdom seemed secure until ambition and outside forces began to unravel it. The next generation would face challenges unlike any before. Enter Philip V. Two kings define the Antigonid story: Antigonus Gonatas, the consolidator, and Philip V, the ambitious reformer. Gonatas reigned for nearly 40 years, bringing stability and intelligent statecraft to Macedon. He defended his kingdom, managed Greek politics, and left a strong legacy. By his death, the Antigonids were one of the three great Hellenistic powers. Generations later, Philip V took the throne, young, energetic, and determined to restore Macedonian glory. He expanded influence in Greece and challenged rival leagues, dreaming of a return to Alexander's greatness. But Philip's ambition led him to a fateful decision, allying with Hannibal against Rome. This brought Macedon into direct conflict with the rising Roman Republic. The alliance with Hannibal was a turning point. Rome would not tolerate a rival in Greece. Philip had awakened a new, relentless enemy. The stage was set for a clash that would decide the fate of the Antigonids. The shadow of Rome was about to fall over Macedon. The countdown to disaster had begun. Rome never forgot Philip V's alliance with Hannibal. After defeating Carthage, Rome turned east. branding themselves as liberators of the Greeks and winning allies among those who resented Macedonian rule. The Second Macedonian War erupted, culminating in the Battle of Cynocephalae in 197 BC. Here, the Roman legions, flexible and adaptable, faced the rigid Macedonian phalanx. On rough terrain, the phalanx faltered. Roman soldiers exploited gaps, breaking the once invincible formation. Philip suffered a crushing defeat, forced to abandon Greek territories, pay a huge indemnity, and surrender his fleet. Macedon was reduced to its core, its influence shattered. Rome now held the balance of power in Greece. The psychological blow was immense. Macedon had been humbled by a foreign army for the first time in centuries. Philip spent his final years rebuilding, but paranoia and tragedy struck. He executed his own son, Demetrius, fearing Roman influence. Broken by guilt, Philip died in 179 BC, leaving the throne to his elder son Perseus. The Antigonids were weakened, isolated, and facing an unstoppable Roman juggernaut. The final act was about to begin. The fate of the dynasty now rested on Perseus. The decisive battle was looming. The end came at the Battle of Pydna in 168 BC. Perseus, Philip's son, inherited a rebuilt army and deep hatred of Rome. Tensions escalated into the Third Macedonian War, a fight for the Antigonid dynasty's survival. The Roman consul Paulus led his legions into Macedon. The two armies finally clashed near Pydna. The battle began almost by accident, but soon the Macedonian phalanx advanced, initially pushing back the Romans. But as the phalanx moved over uneven ground, gaps appeared, exactly what the Romans needed. Roman soldiers slipped through, turning the phalanx's strength into a fatal weakness. In close combat, the Macedonians were outmatched. The phalanx dissolved into chaos. In less than an hour, the Macedonian army was annihilated. Perseus fled, his kingdom lost in a single afternoon. The Antigonid dynasty was shattered. Macedon's centuries-old military tradition ended in blood and defeat. Rome had broken the last great Hellenistic power in Greece. The age of Macedonian kings was over. Perseus, the last Antigonid king, is a tragic figure. He was brave and capable, but after Pydna, his world collapsed overnight. Allies deserted him, and his own people, fearing Rome, refused him sanctuary. He fled to Samothrace, but the Romans hunted him down. Perseus surrendered, and in a display of Roman dominance was paraded in chains through Rome. Imprisoned and humiliated, he died in captivity. His sons were scattered, his dynasty extinguished. The Antigonids were erased from history, their royal line broken. Perseus's defeat marked the end of Hellenistic kingship in Greece. The Greek world fell under Roman rule, and the old order was swept away. Perseus was a king caught in the path of an unstoppable force. His story is a symbol of the end of an era. The Antigonid legacy vanished, but its lessons endure. The Antigonids vanished because they faced a new kind of enemy, Rome. The Romans fought wars of total conquest, not limited skirmishes. The Macedonian phalanx, once supreme, was rigid and outdated against Rome's flexible legions. The Antigonids failed to adapt their military tactics, clinging to the past while Rome innovated. Politically, Rome exploited Greek resentment of Macedonian rule, building coalitions and isolating the Antigonids. Rome's propaganda and diplomacy were as deadly as their swords. After Pydna, Rome dismantled the Antigonid kingdom with ruthless efficiency. The monarchy was abolished. Macedon was split into 4 republics, forbidden to unite. The royal family was imprisoned or killed, and Macedon's identity was erased. The Antigonids disappeared because Rome wanted them gone, and Rome always got what it wanted. Their story is a warning: adapt or be swept away. The fall of the Antigonids marked the dawn of a new world order. The age of Rome had begun. The Antigonids' rise and fall is a powerful reminder of how quickly history can change. Their story shows that empires can vanish in an instant, swept away by new forces and ideas. Studying lost dynasties is like solving a puzzle, piecing together clues from coins, ruins, and ancient texts. The Antigonids may be gone, but their story lives on, teaching us about ambition, adaptation, and the dangers of underestimating rivals. The past is all around us, waiting to be rediscovered. Understanding these stories helps us understand our own world. The lessons of the Antigonids, about change, resilience, and the power of innovation, are as relevant today as ever. Keep exploring history's mysteries. There's always more to uncover. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more stories from the ancient world. Join us as we continue to dig up the past.